Hello, everyone. This is my forensic misrepresentations in media presentation. My name is Jordan Robinson. This is for CJ 1350. So today we'll be watching a clip from the movie The Dark Knight. I will go ahead and play that for you, and then we will talk about it after.
How have you done?
I need 10 minutes with the scene before your men contaminate it.
Us contaminated? It's because of you these guys are dead in the
Give some money, guys. That's Brooke underneath. Gonna take ballistics off a shattered bullet?
No. Fingerprints.
Whatever you're gonna do it fast. Because we found his next target. He's put it in tomorrow's paper.
I'm sure you made it loud enough.
This is your original scale. Here it is re-engineered.
And there's the thumbprint he left when he pushed the round in the clip.
Get your copy.
Okay, awesome, cool. So, as you guys can clearly see, let's see here. Sorry about that. As you can clearly see, Bruce Banner, or Batman, what he was attempting to do, he was utilizing a combination of both ballistic forensics and fingerprinting. So, in the movie, he extracts the bullet hole from the brick wall, and then he takes it back to his laboratory, or the Batcave, and he's attempting to extract the fingerprint from the bullet hole by comparing it to a bullet hole that he created without a fingerprint. He compares both samples to each other and uses the differences to create the fingerprint. Because as you can see, he has the bullet hole from the suspect in the scene of the crime. He goes and he recreates it. He uses his really cool Batman technology to laser analyze both samples, and then he's able to create a digital version, and the differences from the original to the one that he made, the differences equal up to the fingerprint, as we can see here. So how were the methods misrepresented? So overall, the entire attempt to find the fingerprints from the bullet hole, it would have been impossible. When a bullet is fired, there are a lot of different markings that are created and made not only on the bullet, the projectile itself, but also on the casing which houses the bullet until it is fired. That is due to the unique things within the firearm, like the barreling in the barrel, the rifling in the barrel, from the firing pin, from the different components within the firearm, like that extract the round once it's fired, that load it again once it's from the magazine into the barrel, things like that. So really, even if the suspect had left a fingerprint on the bullet when he loaded it into the magazine, the rifling primarily on the inside of the barrel would have left markings that would have erased the fingerprint. Another funny thing is, and the detective states this at the beginning of the video, is that the bullet was fired into brick, so it was smashed. It would have been very, very hard to retract any like markings that could have been identifiable by a ballistic specialist because it was smashed into a brick wall. But even with that, there would not have been any fingerprint left on the bullet due to the impact. And also, I don't believe that the technology that Batman uses, primarily in this picture, that it exists to be able to compare two different markings like that. Okay, however, ballistics and fingerprinting does really exist. It can be applied in many, many different ways in real forensic science. Ballistics primarily can be used to trace a bullet or casing back to the firearm from which it was fired from. So, like we were talking about before, when a round is expelled from a firearm, it leaves a unique pattern of markings on both the bullet and the casing, kind of like a fingerprint, because the markings on both the casing and the bullet are going to be unique to each firearm from which they are fired from. Each firearm is going to leave a unique set of these markings when compared to another firearm. So that's why in many cases, if there is a suspect that has committed a crime with a firearm and they're able to obtain that suspect's firearm with the usage of a search warrant, they can then fire rounds from that suspect's firearm and then compare them to the rounds found at the scene or the casings found at the scene. And from there, they can compare them and they will be able to tell if it's the same firearm that was used from the test from the lab setting, also on the crime setting. All right, so with fingerprinting is very cool. It's very interesting. There are many different ways that fingerprints can be obtained. There are latent fingerprints. These are typically invisible to the naked eye, and they must be acquired by some form of chemical or physical technique. You have your powder dusting. You can use silver nitrate, or you can use iodine fuming as well. And all of these different chemical aspects, they bond to the fingerprints, and then it makes the actual fingerprints visible to the naked eye. We also have the patent prints, which can be seen and pretty easily documented by simply taking a photograph of them. Those are fingerprints that are left in like blood, for example. Another way is sometimes there are impressions of fingerprints that are left in like softer materials, such as wax, putty, soap, things like that, fresh paint. These can be obtained by using casting materials, and then they can be, photographed or preserved that way. And also there is electronic fingerprinting. It does exist. However, it is typically used on living subjects. Okay, so in conclusion, Batman is really cool. He has lots of very interesting technology, but that's just Hollywood, right? In reality, we do have our forensic scientists who are also very cool and very specialized, and they use very specific and specialized techniques to obtain things such as fingerprints or to identify different ballistic markings. Overall, forensic science is a very disciplined it's a very disciplined field. Things take time, things take different tests and modalities, and it takes a lot of time. However, when compared to Hollywood, it makes things appear like they can happen overnight, like they can happen instantaneously. But that is just not the truth. That is just Hollywood glamorizing these things when in reality it's a very tough discipline that takes a lot of time and must be done very thoughtfully. Thank you for watching my presentation. I really appreciate it.